Welcome back to the kitchen project thing. We're going to be working through a lot of little things today as we start to fill in all these holes that still need things to go into the cabinetry. So I think first off this time we're going to get the drawers with the obstructions done. We have drawers that go behind drawers that we can do. We got some shelves to make. We got all kinds of little things to knock off, but obstructed drawers first. So the first type of obstruction is going to be on the left and right of the sink. We have these pop-up outlets that get installed into the countertop, and they have some length and mass to them. And this whole chunk here is actually inside of where the drawer box area would be. So if you take a look back in here, that body of that pop-up outlet is going to be inside the area where the drawer box would go, because the drawer box should end actually at the back of it here. So this drawer has to have something happen. There's like kind of two options. You can either omit all the space over here and make a less deep drawer. That's probably going to be the more standard option that people would probably do. I'm going to make a custom drawer that jogs around this pop-up outlet. And over here on the right side of the sink next to the dishwasher, it's exactly the same setup. There's a pop-up outlet on the left side of the drawer. So both of these drawers are going to be pretty much identical. So the drawers will do something like this. And I think there'll be a much better use of space than just making it only that deep. So we'll have two different side lengths. This side will be split up between the side and this like back side, and the back gets split up as well. And the two drawers are almost identical. That jog will be the same on both of them, but this one here is a 24-inch and the one over there is a 22-inch open. So I'm gonna head down to the shop and start prepping the stock. I already pulled a few boards for this, so I need to just chop them up, mill them up, plane them down, cut some grooves, cut some stuff to length, all that stuff before I head over to the bench and start cutting some joinery. Okay, so these are the fronts and the short sides and the long sides. I think what I'm going to do as far as workflow goes is I'm going to go ahead and join the sides to the fronts, and then we'll go ahead and cut and fit the back. So I'm just going to figure out what this looks pretty good layout wise. Okay. That'll work. So let's cut some dovetails. So there are the sides joined to the fronts, and I just went and I cut all the pieces for the backs. So essentially the backs are 3 parts to make this jog thing work. I got my list. I'm trying to remember which everything goes here. These are 2 slightly different size drawers. So I got a few different size parts here. This goes here, and this is supposed to go here, which that's not right. Hang on. Apparently I just can't read my notes. So this goes here, and this goes here, like this. Okay, so the little short piece here, this is going to be a tailboard. So these will be tails, and these will be pins, and then there'll be pins into here again. So we're basically going to make more dovetail joints inside this box. So instead of being 4 dovetail joints, there'll be 6 in each. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to cut my tails. This is going to be through dovetails like the rest of the drawer. So these little, I don't know, these little pieces here, they're going to get their tails cut on them. And then we can go from there. And I think what I'll do is I'll join all 3 back pieces together first, and then I'll join them to the sides. So there is the jog and the drawer back, and honestly the most difficult part about this is keeping it all straight in your mind, because normally when you're making dovetail joints, your pin boards and your tail boards are all in alignment. So it's just like making sure you like flip-flop them and you don't end up with this piece coming in this way or this piece coming in that way with all the alignment and everything. But other than that, pretty simple through dovetail joints, just like everything else. So now this should be the right length to be a normal through back. So I'm going to be installing this just like I would with a normal back. So I'll cut pins onto the ends of each of these, whatever you want to call these, width boards. And then we can transfer the pins to the sides and cut the tails into those side pieces. And that should complete our weird offset drawer with 6 corners instead of 4. Okay, with that one and that one out of the way, let's move on to a couple more. And over here we have this charging station which drops into the top of the counter and extends down into the drawer cavity. So you can see the insert here, it drops down into the cavity and it would interfere with a full-size drawer being able to go all the way back. The back of the drawer is, back towards the back of the cabinet. So you would have a couple options you could do here. You can make a drawer that's less deep that stops right here. That would be probably like a 10-inch deep drawer, or you can make a drawer that's only this tall and is a full depth. I've already built the front half of the drawer, and what I'm going to do in the back is just go ahead and notch out the side so that the charging station thing kind of nests in here, and you have the best of both worlds. You have the height and the depth available. So there is this kind of weird style of drawer, and this top piece for the back actually serves a lot of functionality for the usefulness of the drawer, because if you didn't have this series, had this step here, it'd be pretty easy to put something in here that was, too long and a little too tall, and then that object would hit on the protrusion of the charging station, and the drawer wouldn't close, and you'd be like, why is this drawer not closing? It's because the thing inside of it is hitting against the obstruction. So this is just more of a restrictor to keep things away from the obstruction, so that no matter what you put in here, as long as it fits in here, underneath this or whatever, above it, it will always allow the drawer to close. Okay, I got some drawer bottoms cut and fit and installed, and we're gonna go through and start installing some stuff. So these first two should be the easy ones, assuming I got the notch correct. That's nice, that fits as it's supposed to. So this should be pretty simple. Then I already have the faces. Oh, what happened with this one? No, I'm not sitting down in there correctly. There we go. And as I was saying, I already had the faces. I made them when I did all the other drawers. So these ones should be able to just go boop right on and put some knobs and these two will be done. Big. Okay, so for these notched ones, let's see how these go. Fits, it clears the, you can't see it, but the, the pop-up outlet is in there already. So we have no clearance issues. The only thing I was worried about was that on this side, we don't have the little tab hook thing in the back engaging with the back of the drawer. And a lot of people are wondering what these little hook things are really for on the drawer slides. And here's one drawer slide so you can see a little better. This is a little hook thing on the back that actually goes into a hole in the back of the drawer. And it does, I guess, two things really. First off, it sandwiches the drawer in the slide between the end point here and the clip in the front so it can't shift around. That transfers all of the force coming in and out directly to the slide. And the other thing it does is it holds the drawer down to the slide so that the drawer can't kick out as you're putting pressure down. And this is a lot floppier than all the other drawers. This technically would be fine. It's more of just like a fit and finish kind of feel. So I think what I'm going to do is actually modify this slide to move the hook tab thing into the correct position to catch the drawer box. So that's it for the obstruction drawers. So let's move on to the next group of things. Okay, next kind of different one, I guess, is going to be the sink base. We're gonna get this thing buttoned up next. So the difference here is that this is a pull-out tray behind a pair of double doors. So we'll make a tray that fits in here based on what the plumbers and electricians have done to the back of the cabinet. And we also need to make the doors. So I want to make the doors first. So let's take a look at what those need to look like. So on the plan elevation, here is the finished look of those doors. It's supposed to look like, each door is supposed to look like two pieces of V paneling that make up the door. And then we have that diamond detail, the same one that's here on the island, gets a kind of a relief cut into the door. So it looks like V-groove paneling with the diamond detail in there, and we get some little knobs and things. So those are going to be some flat slab doors that will then cut and fit in here. So let's head down to the shop and make some doors. Okay, here's the stock for those doors. This little offcut I have. This is moisture resistant MDF. And I think the workflow I'm going to go for here is I'm going to cut and fit the doors to the openings before I potentially waste any time doing any of the decoration on here. Because if I do the decoration now and I screw up fitting the doors, I got to start completely over again and redo all the decoration. At least like this, I know the doors are their final exact shape and dimension, and then I can run the V-grooves on there and do the diamond detail inlay cutout thing, whatever we want to call that. What are we calling that? I just said it. Relief. The diamond detail relief carving thing. Things I wish I had done earlier / before. I'm not really sure why I didn't do this when this was still just a face frame and not a cabinet. Okay, both doors are hung now, and now I just have to set the gaps. So I'm going for a 1/16 of an inch. So I have two 1/32 inch spacers here. I can put one between the door and the face frame. I can run the other one up in there, and that gives me my 1/16 base of that face frame. So this one here looks like it's going to be pretty much straight all the way across. This one here is going to be tapered to meet up here in the middle. It is contacting the face frame on this side, and I have more than a 32nd on this side. So it'll be a tapered cut that tapers by about a little over a 32nd from left to right. Let's see, the last point I can get, I can kind of sneak it in right there, and that's it. And then between the doors, I can do exactly the same thing. I already cut this one here with a back bevel on it, so it's kind of ready to go, and I will then mark the left door to match. Same exact thing using my spacers. And this one's going to be straight. Huh. Not bad. Oh, pretty close to straight. That one is pretty close. Okay, there are the doors fit to the opening. One little issue right now is that the stop, this kind of distance right here, is actually less than the thickness of the door material. So I started planing some material off the bottom. Might have planed some more off of those sides to get them to actually close and be flush up top because they're being held off the bottom a little bit. But otherwise, gaps are nice and consistent. One important detail when you're doing double doors, of course, is that they actually line up on top there. And these ones do. The gap in the middle is nice. So from here, I think we can start decorating the fronts. So we'll put the V-groove down the middle. The edges will get a chamfer. And then we'll pull out the template and do the diamond detail after that. So I thought I had a stubby pattern bit. I don't. So instead of like waiting for one, ordering one and waiting for one, we're just gonna freehand this whole relief carving. It's not a big deal because I was already planning on having to clean up the corners by hand anyway. So whatever. This is not a huge deal. You sure I got them all? Okay. There's our guidelines. We'll route out as much as I can, and then we'll chop back on the lines, just like a hinge mortise. Okay, last thing on the to-do list, drilling for the knobs, and we'll see if this placement is what we like. That is definitely the nice thing about doing this all now before paint, is you can make sure that your hardware placement is right where you want it. And if you don't like it, you can always just plug the hole and then drill a new one and send it off to paint, and you'll never know. Okay. So there are the completed doors. We like that knob placement. So those can come off and get some paint. So while the doors are off of paint, let's deal with the tray. I already went ahead and built it. It's built just like all the other drawers, it's just really short. And the other little detail is it has a stopped groove for the bottom, so you don't have a little gap there in the front. Otherwise, this is built the same way as all the other drawers. Although I'm going to do one thing a little differently here, since this is under the sink. It's probably going to get some sort of moisture or wetness or something splashing on it. In my limited experience, at least, it's not the plumbing that typically leaks water beneath the sink base. It's all of the cleaning products that are stored beneath it. Those containers, at least in my experience, are far more likely to leak or spill or whatever. So I'm going to coat the interior of this drawer with epoxy. That's going to make it like a big waterproof tray thing. And if anything spills in here, it doesn't really matter. Or if the plumbing leaks a little bit, this will catch all of that and protect the rest of the sink base. So we're not quite done with the sink base just yet, but at least it's looking like it's pretty close to done. We'll have the cove mold to put on here, and then this will get lighting as well as a soft closure mechanism as well. And we got toe kicks still, but this is really starting to come together, and I just like it. I think it looks really clean and elegant, and it's looking like an actual thing that holds a sink. So there's a few more things that fill up the interior of the cabinets. There's still quite a bit of things left to go, all the shelves, and I believe there's like 18 more drawers to go, but these are some of the more interesting and fun ones, at least for now, before we dive into some more in a future episode. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you, as always, for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If any questions or comments on the kitchen build or anything back in the shop or whatever, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time. Happy woodworking. Goodbye.